Welcome and thank you so much for joining our Youth, Career, and College Excellence Summit. For those who may not have met me before, I am Dr. Christy Murray, and I will be your illustrious host over the next 2 days.
I think the late, great Michael Jackson said it best. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to make that change. See, a strange thing happens when you realize that you're driving in the wrong lane. That's when you have to self-assess, hit reset or refresh, and make the choice to revise and rearrange. See, sometimes it's hard to see clearly when you're looking through the wrong lens and wearing the wrong frame. The pain, shame, and stain of failure can be crippling at times. And the rippling effects are hard to overcome when you feel like everyone expects you to be at your best at all times. That's entirely too much pressure, my friend. And too much pressure can lead to you being a lesser version of your usual phenomenal self. So I'm personally granting you permission to relax. Eliminate all worries and doubts. Take a moment to reboot, replant seeds of success, and prepare them to sprout. I get it. Your classes are overwhelming this semester. Test after test after test. And as of right now, your grades are a mess, which is the exact reason for all of your struggle, strife, and stress. But if you're in ears reaching my voice, you're about to be blessed. This is the moment the old you meets the new you. Because I know someone who went through and overcame the exact same issue, but didn't need a tissue because this person made the choice to human up. And that's exactly what you are about to do. Break it down and add just a little more effort. Add just a little more planning. Add just a little more focus. Add just a little more time management. Add just a little more patience. Add just a little more studying. Add just a little more listening. Add just a little more discipline. She started with the woman in the mirror and asked herself, why is she struggling with her classes? She was brutally honest with herself. The answer was, she wasn't giving each class enough study time. And at that very moment, everything changed. Because she decided to make studying one of her top priorities in life and set her butt down. She pulled out a calendar and wrote, W-R-O-T-E, down how much time she would spend studying for each class each day. See, if you're struggling in your classes and you don't have a written down plan for the least amount of time you will spend studying and preparing for each class, you stop this video right now. Go get you a pencil and a planner and map a study course for your success out right now. You can come back to this exact point when you're finished. Because once you write it down, it becomes real. And that's just the beginning. Because see, my friend said writing it down was the easy part. She said the execution and follow through is what will test your heart. And when the real work starts. She said it wasn't easy. And there were times that she got off schedule. But because she had a written down course of action and she consistently followed her schedule, it really worked. Because she went from being on the brink of failing all of her classes at the midpoint of the semester to passing all of her classes with honors. So what you gonna do, bro? What you gonna do, sis? Success is yours for the taking. And if I'm not mistaken, you said your goal was to pass every class. If I'm not mistaken, you said your goal was to never again finish last. If I'm not mistaken, you said your goal was to never be broken like glass. If I'm not mistaken, you said your goal was to always be driven and never crash. This is your dream, not mine. And you said your goal was to pass every class. You said your goal was to never again finish last. You said your goal was to never be broken like glass. You said your goal was to always be driven and never ever crash. So all excuses, you throw them in the trash because it's your time to blow up and blast off, because never again will you be a cast off, because the old you is gone. You took the mask off. The sirens of panic all stopped. You turned the flash off. Lock in with me. There is absolutely no reason why you can't succeed. All you gotta do is water the seeds of success that are planted in your heart. Sometimes you may have to change the fertilizer to get a new spark, meaning make the necessary adjustments and give yourself a brand new start. You got this. This is a great day to win.
Okay. So good morning again to everyone. I love kicking off my summits with a video that really kind of drives some of the essence of what I'm really about. And I love working with young adults and really making sure that you have confidence and that you know that you can do anything you set your mind to. So again, welcome. I'm Dr. Christy Murray. For those who joined us just a few minutes ago, thank you for joining today's Youth Career and College Excellence Summit. This actually is my 4th year hosting this virtual summit. And I host it for high school students, college students, and your parents, because one of the things that I found is that right before your academic and your college school years kick off, there's an opportunity to make sure that you get impactful information that you need, both related to the upcoming school year, but also when it comes down to just young adulting and providing you with some resources and some strategies that can help you no matter where you are on that journey. So again, welcome. And I want to give an extra special shout out to my repeat attendees. I do see some faces and some names of young adults and parents who have joined me for multiple years. So thank you for joining again. And for those who are new, yes, you can join my summit more than 1 year in a row. So thank you for being with me this year. So if you're wondering, why is Dr. Murray hosting the summit every year? I already gave you a little bit of insight, but here's a little bit more context. A lot of activities happen throughout the year. Many organizations, schools, you name it, have programs and activities for young adults to learn more about careers, college, and more. But not many of them focus in the month of August. August is a very timely time of the year to make sure, and I really love focusing and making sure my high school juniors and really my high school seniors who are on here have the information they need to really kick off their academic years differently. Because one of the things you'll hear me emphasize over the course of this session is that you really want to make sure that you apply to colleges if you're a rising senior in the fall of your senior year. So you'll hear me talk more about that. But I also use this as an opportunity to pour into college students, to give you a bit of encouragement and support as you kick off your next year of college, or those who are rising freshmen in the fall and going to college for the first time. So you have some opportunities at whatever level you are to hear things that you can take away and use beyond today's summit. The theme of this year's summit is to educate, empower, and equip young adults for excellence. I really do believe in excellence, and that video you just watched really gets to the heart of it. Looking at yourself and thinking you can get through anything if you're willing to commit, put forth the effort, and not give up on yourself. And that's really what excellence is all about, always being in pursuit of self-improvement and making progress for whatever that means in your life. So today what we're going to do, we're going to make sure that we share impactful information for careers and college preparedness. We'll also take this as an opportunity to empower you. And I want to, and you'll hear me in different ways share more, but I want to empower you to make sure you take ownership and accountability of your life, your future, and see yourselves as a leader in your own life. If no one's ever told you before, you are already a leader. You have to first start with self-leadership. So we're going to talk about things that help you to be more in the driver's seat of what's happening in your life. As you're in high school, potentially in college and beyond, one of the things that I want you to remember is no one is going to work harder for your future than you will. No one is going to own it more than you will. And no one's going to celebrate your successes more than you will. So take that ownership. And lastly, we certainly want to use this as an opportunity to equip you. So what you'll see me do is provide you with tools and resources, some financial, to help you along your journey. So I don't want to just tell you what to do, but I want to be a part of the process and journey to show you how to do it and give you some great resources to be successful. So if you are excited about that, as I am, then I look forward to spending time with you today and tomorrow. I do want to kick it off with a few housekeeping things first. I do want to remind everyone that this session is being recorded. So please note that these talks that we're having will be shared publicly for those who are unable to attend today's and tomorrow's summit. So I will be recording and making sure that this information is on my YouTube channel for others to be able to view. Also, the slides and the recordings, again, will be on my website, and they'll also be on my YouTube channel. If you haven't already muted your lines, please mute your lines so that we can make sure that we minimize any noise and background noise and distractions. Feel free, particularly those who might be interested in Dr. Christie's scholarships that may be offered, but feel free to come off of mute at any time and share, raise your hand, use the hand feature and or share so that we can make sure that you get any questions you have. This is a safe space to ask questions, and I want everyone to feel empowered to be able to do so during today's session. Or you can drop a comment in the chat, and I do have Miss Cassandra. She is on to also help me as we're navigating through our summit to address any questions you have in the chat. And parents, ask questions as well. This is as much for parents as it is for young adults. So please feel empowered to do the same. Now, also, this last bullet is important. If you're at all interested in any of my scholarship opportunities, I highly recommend that you plan to, let me erase this real quick. It's annoying me with these squiggly lines here. Please plan on being on camera, and also make sure that you are engaged in the discussion. So if we have guest speakers, we will have some guest speakers. We will have other young adults on a college and career panel sharing about their insights. And so I want you to feel comfortable asking your questions and engaging with those who we've invited in to share their insights and expertise with each one of you. So if you want opportunities for the scholarships, then listen up. Also, throughout today in particular, I will be giving you information on what you'll need to be working on for the scholarships. And I'll say this up front. After the summit ends, our summit will end around 3 p.m. today. So after Eastern time. So after the summit today, you have a little bit of homework to complete a brief scholarship application. And that is what we will be evaluating later this evening into the morning. And tomorrow, the second day of the summit, we will end with announcing our scholarship winners. So you will know by the end of the second day whether or not you are one of our scholarship recipients. The other tip I'll give you up front is if you put garbage into the application, then we're likely to evaluate garbage on the evaluation side, and you're not likely to get awarded the funds. So please take that serious. And I do this for two reasons. One, if you spend 2 days with Dr. Christie on a summit, I want to make sure it's worth your while. I want you to have an opportunity for scholarships and other giveaway opportunities because I want to make sure that we give you resources you need. And two, going through my mini scholarship application, because I'm going to give you some feedback tomorrow on how well you did with your application, is an example of what other scholarship providers will be looking for. So if you have dual scholarship application, then don't expect anybody's funding. And so I want to make sure that those who are attending my summit are at the top of the list, the most competitive when it comes to getting scholarship funds from not just my summit, but externally too. And we'll talk a lot more about scholarships later today. Are there any questions or comments as we get started? All right. Well, with that being said, I want to kick it off and give you a little bit of insight on in the agenda for the next 2 days. I'm already wrapping up my opening remarks, but I'll also spend the next probably between now and about 11:45 Eastern talking about careers, college planning. What does it take to get through the college admissions process? Sharing strategies I wish someone had told me. And then I'll talk about another important topic, college funding and scholarships. So there's getting into school, and then there's how do you pay for it? And both, I always kick off my summits every year with these same two topics. So if you've attended in the past, you're like, oh, Dr. Christie, I've heard that before. Stick around anyway, because I always add new things to these two topics, but also share your insights. So if you're a return student and you're currently in college, or you have graduated college and you've used my systems and strategies, then come off of mute and share your experiences with others, because that's the value you too can bring to this space. Then we'll stop and take about a 15-minute break around 11:45. And I'm sorry I can't give you a full lunch break, but I'm trying to jam pack as much information as possible into our brief time together today. But we'll take about a 15-minute break, go grab a sandwich, use the restroom, grab something to drink, and come back. And then we will have a couple of key guests coming in. We will have a guest speaker to come in and talk about military ROTC scholarships, in particular, U.S. Army ROTC scholarships. And then we will have a gentleman come in and talk about apprenticeship opportunities. How can you earn while you learn? Not everybody wants to go to a 4-year college or go to college at all. So how do we create those opportunities and expose you to other opportunities outside of a 4-year college experience? And then I'm so excited to have we have a moderated panel discussion, and we're going to have young adults come and share their experiences on college and beyond, life after college and the workforce. So please, certainly stick around for that, because they're going to share some things that are certainly relevant to your generation. And then lastly, I will wrap up for the day and share the instructions for the scholarships. Tomorrow, you will join me at 3:00 p.m. Eastern. So everyone can go worship if you worship, or have a religious service on Sunday, or whatever you like to do on Sunday. And join me back at 3 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be together from 3 to 6 p.m. tomorrow. I'll recap what we did day one, and then we'll move right into our couple of guest speakers. We'll have one guest speaker who will talk about your voice and your vote matters. Well, two actually. They'll talk from two different perspectives and share particularly why it's important for young adults to get out to the polls. We're not here to tell you who to vote for, but we are to tell you that voting does matter and how you can go about doing it and what that process looks like. And then we will have a young lady to come on and talk about money matters for young adults. I love making sure that we share with you strategies on how to invest, how to work with your credit, how to deal with credit cards, and more. So she will share about that. Then we'll take a brief 5-minute break and come back, and we'll have a licensed therapist come and share about self-care. And what does that look like in terms of self-care and mental health in a collegiate environment, but as a young adult? And then we will wrap up with our drum roll, and we will announce our scholarship winners. We'll thank our sponsors, and then we will close out the program. Any questions about the agenda, please drop them in the chat, or feel free to raise your hand and be acknowledged for a live question. Okay. Well, next, I would be remiss if I didn't start out by saying thank you, and recognizing our sponsors. Educational Excellence, my company, we are hosting this summit as we have for the past 4 years, and happy to do so. And it has always been virtual so that I could reach students across the country. That's the only way I can do it, is to do it virtual. So if you're wondering, why isn't she doing this in person? Because one, I'm sure you love the luxury of being at home and being able to multitask or to participate in this summit, and so do others, but also because my vision is to reach as many people who want to be reached and who want access to this information. So that is the reason why I host it every year in August, and I do it virtually. I also want to extend special thank yous to the Buffy Foundation Incorporated, Magnus Temple Number 3, Ancient Egyptian Arabic Order Nobles, Mystic Shrine of North and South America and its jurisdictions. Also, thank you to the Gospel Worship Experience Scholarship Program, Ultimus IT, the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Washington, their Center of Transformation Program, and Chambliss Consulting LLC. These entities have either sponsored scholarships and/or is hosting the event. Most of them are scholarship sponsors. So those are the organizations that we all have to thank for making funding available to you for this summit.